That rapidly. We are back on the Common Sense Quality Scott Hillard Show, live and direct from the Mecca of domestic oil production in the great United States of America. Stanley, North Dakota is our broadcast location today. And we had a conversation that we started a couple of weeks back with Dean Dovolis of Annabelle Homes, who's a great, unique story that you're going to be hearing more about on this program in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. Minneapolis businessman, architect, developer, said, you know what, there's not enough work in the Twin Cities, so go west, young man, and is building homes throughout the entire Bakken region to meet the demand of a booming industry in a booming part of North Dakota. Dean, it's nice to have you back. How are you?
Scott, good morning. Thank you very much.
Yet another trek from the Twin Cities to the oil patch, huh?
I got in 2:30, so I did well last night.
My gosh. It is amazing. And what I noticed this morning, we left early, bright and early, 5 from Tioga. There's that little Highway 40 that comes out of Tioga.
Correct.
And feeds Highway 2.
Yep.
And I was pretty sure I took some video. We'll have it up at scotthannon.com and on my Facebook page. About a minute. I called it the 1 minute mile. And it was as busy as I-94, I-29, on any given day with 100,000 people, 200,000 people in the region compared to a community of supposedly 1,500. It's phenomenal what's going on out here.
What's occurring is North Dakota's very blessed as you're having such a concentrated, rapid growth that it's really opened up more and more opportunity for more and more people. That's the beauty of it. The sad part of the Twin Cities, the growth is sort of with the wealthy, the 1% is driving it. The rest is trying to get there, but there's just not enough economic activity around. What's happening here is that there's been such an explosion of opportunity that if anyone who wants to create a business, get a home, start a profession, they have a chance here, and they can jump right into it. And that's what's really exciting about what's going on up here.
It feels like the Wild West.
It is the Wild West, and what we're here to do is sort of give some structure to the Wild West, some opportunity to the Wild West, and part of it is getting people in homes so they can stay and grow their careers and bring their families to really build upon the opportunity that's occurring up here.
Because the Wild West is largely, I believe, I think of Wild West, I think of exciting, exhilarating, but also a bit sort of lawlessness almost. And there's not lawlessness, but I mean, we're going to chat a little later on this hour with Dennis Lindahl. And Dennis is on the city council at Stanley and works with you at Annabelle Homes as well as a PR advertising, professional that is, I think, can tell us about the good and the bad, because there's some bad here too, isn't there? And I hate that word, but it's almost it's I don't know. Challenges is better, but there's good and bad with this boom.
And I wouldn't use bad. It's just when you have rapid opportunity, you just need to catch up to it. And probably the only bad thing that happened is that there was some previous oil busts, and so everyone sort of held back to see, is this real? This is real, and no one reacted very quick. And all of a sudden, they realized, oh, my dear, it's real. And now everyone's trying to scramble to catch up to the reality that this is a long-term economic change that's occurring in this area.
But when I say bad, here's what I mean, Dean. And first of all, I've been nothing short of having pom-poms in each hand talking about this oil boom, trying to tell eastern North Dakota over and over and over again about, hey, there is a North Dakota that exists west of Castleton and Larimore, okay? So I'm all bully for what's happening out here. I think it's extraordinary. But spending more time out here, you realize that, as you say, that the getting ahead of the growth is a big challenge. And let me give you an example of bad. We were sitting with some of your team last night that are working on constructing these homes and townhomes and everything else, and they said we lost our mechanical.
Yes.
We lost our mechanical contractor last night. And I said, well, did he get a bigger job, or is he moving on to bigger and better things? And they said he died in a car accident. And here he was running to get some supplies with a couple of people from his team, and ended up passing a semi in a head-on collision. And I mean, that is a result of obviously a very stressful traffic situation out here.
You're absolutely right. And losing Jerry has been tough, and so I'm glad you mentioned him, because he was a great guy, and our sympathies go out to his family. And you're absolutely right. What's happened is the growth has gone ahead of the infrastructure. It's that simple. And so you have roads. They're originally meant for rural vehicles, a few tractors, a few trips and out from the cattle industry and from wheat and barley, things like that, where now you have roads that are carrying full complement of oil trucks, fracking trucks, workers, everything else. And so these two-lane roads that was never meant for the traffic and are overwhelmed with tremendous amounts of traffic, and Highway 52 being the main route between Jamestown and Minot carries a tremendous amount. It carries houses are being moved up to the back, and trucks, equipment, things like that. So it used to be a very simple road. It's very complicated and busy, and what eventually is going to have to happen is the state develops. We have to start looking at infrastructure where more four-lane roads are needed, like Highway 83 or Highway 2 and things like that, just to give safe major routes to help provide for the growth.
Exactly. So, we're going to spend a little more time talking about that, but there's a lot of good. There really is, and I think what Annabelle Homes is doing is a prime example. It is a beacon of hope. It is a beacon of hope to say, okay, finally we can find, what's more American than a home, right? And give people a place to call home so they stay.
Exactly, because the key to this area, the temporary house is needed, like I say, to get it started, to get people here. But the key to the economic growth is people having homes, because it gives a sense of permanency, a sense of investment, a sense of commitment. And if you don't have that, people will always be moving through. And so this is really the first step of creating a bigger, more diverse economy in North Dakota.
Every time I have Dean on, we never have enough time, and we have a couple minutes left, but we'll certainly have more conversations like this. I just had a listener want us to ask you about gouging. That's going on, and people are reading about this with the price of rental property and whatnot. How would you, as a developer, address somebody that's saying, why are apartment owners or developers gouging?
Unfortunately, because they can. What we've done by developing the housing in Stanley, give you an example. The mortgage payment on our townhouses is $900 a month. That is less expensive than any rent in the whole area. So you can own a townhouse for $900 a month. It's that simple. Our more expensive house, the mortgage is on is $1,250 a month. Same deal, which again equals the rent in the area. You can own a home for that kind of money. So what we're doing is helping with their credit, get them a house so they have an alternative to the high rents that are in the area.
So it's just a product of the market right now.
Exactly, because they can. And so as we develop more homes, what we hope will happen is that the market will start to stabilize into a proper norm that will serve everyone.
You're also developing with my friend Dave Guttormson the All Seasons Annabelle RV Park, right?
Yes.
And what if I wanted to rent a slab from you to put an RV? Isn't it about within a couple $100 of a townhome payment?
It's $900. It's the same.
It's the same.
That gives you the idea of what's happening in the marketplace out there.
Phenomenal. Now, obviously, I can do that for a shorter period of time, and there's other reasons people would do it. But I mean, that gives you an idea. Why in the world, when you could own something, would you rent it? But it's the market, right?
And what we did is we went and flyered all the RV parks in Tioga, saying just to let people know, because there's a lot of families in these RV parks saying you have a choice, and we let everyone know that if you want to stay, if you want to invest in North Dakota, there's a chance of affordable housing, which is the same rent you're paying for a piece of ground in the RV park.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And you can, any of the search engines, find Annabelle Homes. We'll be linking soon from our websites as well, so you can find them and find out more about this. It is an exciting time, and no question about it. But to have the opportunities and the opportunity to provide for your family matched up with a place to call home is a pretty important combination that rapidly is happening thanks to investment from you and other folks, Dean. So thanks so much.
Well, I'm glad I'm here. Thank you, Scott.
Look forward to chatting again, and we'll do it in the coming days and weeks. Good to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Dean Dovolis of Annabelle Homes. We're going to talk with a member of the Stanley City Council. Dennis Lindahl will join us next on the Common Sense Club. Talk about the good, and I'll say it, the bad, the challenges that come with the Wild West on the Common Sense Club and the Scott Show after we